Welcome to the Chamber Vibes podcast with your host, Brittany Timmons, the Greater Guthrie Chamber of Commerce CEO and President. In this podcast, you will hear from local guests who will discuss topics such as leadership, small business, and our vibrant community. You'll also hear success stories and tips from amazing local businesses, dive into important news, meet community leaders, and find out how you can get involved in our community. From the Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful and historic downtown Guthrie, America, here is Brittany Timmons.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chamber Vibes. Today, I've got my good friend and Chamber Board member and the 2022 Citizen of the Year with me. I have Miss Jamie Newton.
Hi.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm great.
Yes,
Great. Thanks for having me.
You might notice that things look a little different here at the Second Banana Media Studio, and that's because noted, tell your guest, Britt, not to wear green. So anyway, we have had some good laughs here in the studio prior to getting ready for this episode. So that's why it looks a little bit different today. But, you know, we all have to learn how to work on the fly sometimes.
You bet.
And our
You
wonderful
bet.
producer made that happen for us. So here we are. So I wanted to have you on today for multiple reasons. Obviously, you were chosen as the Guthrie Chamber Citizen of the Year, so congratulations
Thank
for
you.
that. Yes,
Thanks.
at our annual banquet in January. I know it was a complete surprise to you.
It absolutely was.
Yes, which is always fun when we get to do those surprises. And so anyway, our Citizen of the Year encompasses many things. And Jamie is just an excellent example of someone who pours her whole heart and soul into the community. And so I just kind of want to talk to you about that today. Talk to you about volunteerism and your work history and just kind of let everybody get to know you a little bit better.
Great.
So,
Great. I'm
okay.
glad to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about like where you work and
Okay.
a little bit about your background.
I work at Environmental Management, or most people know it as EMI, out east of town. And I've worked there for 34 years.
Wow.
May 8th was my 34th anniversary.
Congratulations. And they're
Thank
celebrating
you.
a big year this year,
Yeah,
40.
40.
So yeah, so you've been there almost since the beginning.
Almost. Almost.
And you always
yeah.
tell everyone you were how old when you started?
Two.
Yeah. She,
Yeah, just two.
yeah, she's been working for the Bobo since, an infant. Anyway, no.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was a prodigy.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, but 34 years, that's amazing. You know, not a lot of people can say that. You know, they either
true.
don't find something they love for that long or maybe life takes them somewhere else. And so
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you really don't hear that very often. So
No.
that's something I'm really, really proud of.
Yeah, absolutely.
The longevity. I know that sometimes other employers might look at that as a not being motivated or not being ambitious enough. But you know what? I love where I work. I love the people I work with.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. And
That's what matters.
yeah.
Because I
And
always say
so-
this too, like life is way too short for us to not enjoy what we do because we spend most of our lives at work, you know, a lot of us. And so we have to enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
And, you know, that to me, that just speaks volumes about EMI, you know, as a company and as an employer. And, you know, I've had Terry on the show before.
Yeah.
Talking about just their history and all that they do, and so what a fun company and a great place to be.
Yeah,
so.
I've actually known the Bobos, Terry and Lonnie, since I was 12 years old.
And that's a true statement. We're not making up the age.
not
just
not
kidding.
making up the age. That is a true statement. He and my father worked in the waste industry business in northwestern Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so I literally met them when I was about 12.
Wow.
And then I babysat their kids, you know, when I was in high school and a little beyond. And
Yeah, it's like
and
part of the
so,
family.
Yeah, it's definitely family to me.
Yes,
And,
that's
you know,
awesome.
we've had a lot of people come and go at the business over the years, but a lot of them end up even coming back because it's such a great place to work.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of longevity out there. We have a lot of 20 and 25-year employees.
Which again speaks volumes. I
It
think
really does, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
awesome.
It's a great place to work.
Yeah. So you've been at EMI and you've been in the Guthrie area, obviously, all those years. But I know, and this is kind of what I want you to talk about today on the show, that you haven't always, all 34 of those years, you know, been involved in the community like you are now.
No. I lived in Edmond and graduated high school
We
in
love our
Edmond.
friends in very southern Guthrie.
Yes,
that's what
Southern
we call
Guthrie.
that.
That's
Yeah.
right. But I've worked here, you know, for so many years, but I didn't move to Guthrie until 2016.
Okay.
And
so you commuted all those years.
I commuted all those years. Our kids were in school in Edmond. My husband and I both went to Edmond.
Okay.
So we wanted our kids to be in Edmond schools, and then once that was done, we moved up here, and I just love this community. I love the small town feeling of it, but yet there's always so much going on. It's not like a small town with nothing to do.
Right.
And so I just really wanted to be fully in. I wanted to be fully invested. And so I just really wanted to get involved. So one of the first things I did was ask one of my fellow employees at EMI, Crystal Fleury.
Yes, love Crystal.
Lifelong Guthrie resident. And,
Yep.
And asked her, how do you get involved? What do you do? Where do you start? And she and I talked a lot, and just led to some other things.
Cool. So what did, a little plug for Crystal here, but so what is some of the advice that she gave you to get involved?
Well, we talked about civic organizations, Lions Club, Rotary, Kiwanis, things like that. And she just said, do some research online and see what their mission is, what their values are, and which one kind of aligns with what you're looking for. And, she just told me that those were all here in town, and just kind of helped me figure out where to start.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one of the other things that she did was she was in the inaugural class of Leadership Guthrie. And so she asked if I would like to be in the second class of Leadership Guthrie. And so I said absolutely, because the more I could learn about my new home, my new community, the better. So
well, and EMI they've sent someone every year since then, because I think they understand the importance of the program, and we'll talk a little bit here soon more about Leadership Guthrie, but sending somebody through and how important that is.
It's very important.
Yeah. So is that so the second class of Leadership Guthrie, is that kind of where it all started from there?
Yeah,
as far as your volunteer work?
Pretty much. Okay. EMI has always been a big supporter of the United Way. And so the first, I guess, community thing that I really started with was the United Way allocations process years and years ago. Because I was working here in town, I was able to participate in that. Not living here, it's a little more difficult to participate in some of the other things. So when I was in Leadership Guthrie, I learned so much about everything here and all the civic organizations, and of course the other people that I was in the class with, some of them were already involved in certain things, and one of them invited me to come and learn about Kiwanis, and I eventually decided to join Kiwanis because of their mission to help children.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Leadership Guthrie class really becomes a tight-knit group because our Leadership Guthrie class starts in August and it goes through May, and the group meets once a month, and they explore different areas of Guthrie. So one thing that I have noticed since I've been with the Chamber and doing that program, and I want to say Doug Ogle, Assistant Superintendent here at Guthrie Public Schools, he runs that program, and I just get to help run alongside him. It's his baby, and he does a fantastic job.
Phenomenal.
Facilitating the program. But it's for Chamber investors, so you have to be an active current Chamber investor to go through the program, but we take applications, and then every month they just dive more into the community. And I've heard people say, I've been in Guthrie for a decade, I've been in Guthrie for 20 years, and I didn't know this, this, and this. And so it's really neat to kind of watch that unfold and hear people learn something new every time. So we dive into healthcare and the arts, and they visit the sheriff's office and the jail. They hear from city leadership. We go to Langston. They get to go to the Capitol and meet and spend the day with our local legislators, and it's amazing. And
that was my favorite day, by the way.
Yeah, I know the Capitol Day is
incredible.
Really, really cool. Yes, and so through Leadership Guthrie, you built these relationships with your class, and so then that led you to Kiwanis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what other? I know that you volunteer with several different organizations, so if you kind of want to talk about that, like how else you got involved.
Sure. Well, with Kiwanis, I just joined because I wanted to help, and just continue to get involved deeper and deeper with Kiwanis. I'm the treasurer of the club now, and after that, through Leadership Guthrie, when we had our government day, basically, where we went and heard presentations from the mayor and city manager, and we learned about the city government and everything. I learned about the advisory boards that the city has, that citizens can apply to join an advisory board, and you get to help make suggestions and decisions for a lot of different areas of the city. And one that really was interesting to me was the library board, because I love to read. I love books. I love the library.
And our library is awesome.
I love what our library does here in town. I mean, I think the mayor's fond of saying it's a library on steroids because
they work on a limited budget.
They work on a limited budget, but they do so much with it. And so I thought, that's a great place for me. So I applied to be on that board, and I was appointed by the mayor. And so that's just really been great. We meet quarterly, and we just learn about the policies and procedures of the library, and anything that the library director needs help with or thoughts about or anything, we're there to help and just be part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so that's a way to be involved directly with the city. I mean, that's directly with the city. And I think that's important too, because this is our town, this is our city, and we should be able to know about things that are going on, and especially if it's something you really care about, like the Parks Department or the historic preservation. All of those things. There's a place for everyone. Anyone who's willing and wants to be a part of something here in town, there's something for you.
Right, and I know they're always looking for citizens to step up, and
They
so
are.
You're just one of those people who said yes,
I
and you do
did.
have to commit, and you do have to spend extra time, but you know that you're helping make a difference, making a difference, and it's huge.
And just being supportive, and sometimes it's just boils down to sharing posts on Facebook or something like to that effect, but it matters. It makes a difference just to have one more person out there reaching out to all of my friends and my peeps on Facebook,
Well, and especially those of us who
going
depends
on.
on boards, like the library needs their board to support them and to help make decisions and guide. And that's, coming from someone who has a board, I never really even understood, the importance. And there's the YMCA board, there's United Way board. There's so many different ways that people can get involved right here in our community. We're definitely not lacking on opportunity.
That's true. That is true.
So,
and then from there, I was informed about an opportunity at the chamber that they had a board member position open. So I applied for that, and I was selected as a board member for the chamber. And that has been just a completely wonderful, rewarding opportunity that I've had to learn so much more about the business community here, and just also all the things that are happening here in this town, and the exciting parts and pieces and everything that goes together to, make this community what it is. And being part of the chamber and just helping further their mission to support and enhance the business community here has really been another rewarding opportunity. And I've met so many neat people through chamber coffees and my fellow board members, and the after hours that we have occasionally, and the training opportunities. There's just so much through the chamber that just really enhances and promotes and is really good for the business community. And so I've really been...
And I did not pay you to say that.
No.
Okay, let's just get that out there. So
No, but,
definitely not. But
and I'm not just saying it because I'm a board member.
That's right.
Like,
She's
I have
not.
to.
No, there was no.
I truly believe
special
all that.
deal. I know
truly
you do.
believe all that.
I know you do, and it reflects in your service. For sure.
So and that has been ribbon cuttings and learning about new businesses and new opportunities. All of those things have just been a real blessing to me to be able to participate in all those and support you and the other board members and the businesses here. Yeah. So that's been another great way for me to become involved and give back to my community.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's talk about, too, I know you're part of another organization that we haven't brought up yet. And so the VFW is near and dear to yours and your husband's heart.
Absolutely.
And so that's another way that you've been able to get involved.
Yes.
And one of our chamber investors too. So so let's talk a little bit about your involvement with them.
Okay. Well, it's always something that I have been interested in, but my husband is the veteran. He's a Desert Storm veteran. And no matter if I wanted to get involved, I felt like he needed to be the one to, sort of initiate that. And there was a time where he makes fun of me for all the things I do, and my mom tells me I need to learn how to sit on my hand so that I quit doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it.
Say no. You're a yes woman.
I need to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
So my husband kind of makes fun of me. So when he one night said, I think I'd like to look at joining the VFW, I nearly fell over because, that's just, he makes fun of me for those things. But I said, I'm in, let's do it.
Yeah. And that's something you guys can do together, which is cool.
It is something we do together. And I'm a member of the auxiliary. It used to be called the Ladies Auxiliary, but it's not just for ladies anymore. I just want to put that out there because there are a lot of gentlemen that join the auxiliary in support of their wives or their mothers, or their grandfathers, or anyone that they have in their family that was a veteran. So being a part of the auxiliary is just supporting veterans.
Okay.
And it's
so that's what that means.
Yeah.
I think that's something that not a lot of people understand.
Yeah.
So.
The VFW Auxiliary, we are a sister organization to the Veterans of Foreign Wars, to the Post. And our purpose is to support and enhance the services and the help that the Post is able to give to veterans. Whether they're members of the Post or not, that does not matter. If there's a veteran in need, the VFW and the VFW Auxiliary wants to help. We want to be there to lift them up and help them through the hard times that they might be having.
Okay, awesome. So you guys serve in that way. And I know you've gotten really involved and
I have
helped with some of the events and different things out there.
Yes. I've recently been elected as president of the auxiliary, and I'm serving on some state level positions as well with the state auxiliary.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a worthwhile organization. Of course, our veterans mean everything to me, and I'm also the granddaughter of a World War II veteran, and so this organization, it really means a lot to me. And so to know that my husband was interested in joining, which then allowed me to, now you don't, I say that, but you don't have to be affiliated with anybody at the Post to join the auxiliary. If you just want to join to help, you don't have to have a relative that's a member of the VFW Post. You just have to have a relative that was a veteran of a foreign war. And there's some, ways that you can meet those requirements. And, of course, we'd love to talk to anybody that would like to join us or find out about it. Yeah.
Yes, always looking to grow. Yeah, because, I know with Kiwanis too, and same with the VFW, these organizations have existed for quite some time in our community. And I know Lions is over 50 years. And, I don't even quote me because I don't have them all in my head, but Rotary, Lions, Kiwanis, American Legion, VFW, lots of these nonprofit organizations are all looking to do good things, but it takes people. And I think it's easy for us to get in our routines and kind of set in our ways and say, oh, well, someone else will handle that. Someone else will provide the egg hunt for my kids to go to. Someone else will do that auction. Someone else will do it. And you are just proof that you are the someone else. You are the one of the people in doing those things. And sometimes it's dirty work, and sometimes it's not glorious or necessarily put you in the limelight, so to speak. And obviously, these are all qualifications of why, you encompass Citizen of the Year, and what that means to our community. But seriously, I know we have a lot of times people come in the chamber and say, I moved here, or I'm lonely, or I'm looking for ways to, and I'm like, there is no shortage of wonderful organizations, and ways that people can evolve. So
there are so many. There are so many here. And, Guthrie is a thriving community, but we do have an older citizenry.
Sure.
And we are starting to get new, younger families moving here. We've got some housing developments coming along, so we're going to be having some new people and new, younger families. And the people that have been in Guthrie forever are aware and know of all of these organizations, and they love them and they want to serve them, but they're not going to be around forever.
Right.
And some of that knowledge needs to be passed on to a younger generation.
Right.
And some of the younger generation needs to stand up for these organizations that have been here and been so helpful for so long in this community. Kiwanis is celebrating 52 years as a club, and I think that the annual Christmas auction has gone on since, I want to say, the mid-70s, I think is
Long time.
when they started that. It's evolved and changed over the years, but I want to say that they've told me that it was the mid-70s that they started doing that. And, you know, all of the proceeds from that auction go to help the kids of our community and provide events and
In Logan County.
right
Like the
here.
money stays
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Our Coats for Kids program provides coats and sometimes even clothing and shoes and things for those that need it, the kids that need it. And then just this week, we presented 3 $1,000 scholarships to graduating seniors.
Awesome.
And that is just an incredible thing to know that we are going to be even just a small part of that student's
Yeah.
furthering their education and potentially their success with it, you
Right.
know.
Well, and you couldn't do that if you didn't have volunteers to look at the scholarship committee,
that's
to
right.
look at the applicants or
Right.
to raise the money. So it took
Yeah.
the businesses and citizens to buy, bid on things at the auction so that the money could be there. I mean, we always say #community wins, and this is how our community wins because, the volunteers help make it happen. The businesses or individuals spend the money, then a kid gets a coat that they needed or a scholarship, and it just trickles down, but it takes people. And so
People come to the VFW monthly auxiliary dinner. We have a dinner every second Friday of the month, and they come, they get a great meal
for a very
affordable price. And just by coming and eating great food and supporting us, they are allowing us or providing the opportunity for us to be able to help a veteran in need or a family in need. We sponsor families at Christmas. We provide stockings for veterans in the VA hospital that are there and aren't able to leave for Christmas. We do so much, but we're only able to do that because of the support of the community and because of the people that have joined and have a heart for that service. So,
Right. So what you're saying is get involved.
I am. I'm saying
get
it
involved.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter how small or how
No.
much. You don't have to be like Jamie and serve
And do everything.
and be the yes woman. But you're such a great example of that.
you.
And
I appreciate
love that you wanted to come on and help us get the word out about all of these great opportunities, and it all really fueled her from Leadership Guthrie.
It
and
did.
So
It absolutely did.
right there, if you are an active chamber investor, or maybe you're not at this moment, and you want to talk to us about that, Leadership Guthrie is awesome, and we'll be opening up those spots soon. But because of that program, now you're serving in a lot of different ways. And
Absolutely. That's one of the best things I ever did was, and I thank EMI for paying for
Absolutely.
my tuition to go. And I would just encourage anyone who's interested in doing that it does cost money. There is a tuition for it, but talk to your employer, talk to other people, talk to your organization that you're a part of even, and see if they can't help you with that, if that's something that you're really interested in doing,
Well,
because
even
it's
the chamber
totally
will
worth
help.
it.
I mean, we will help make that as easy as possible with whatever we need to do to partner. But
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so well worth it just to learn more and about our community and all the different aspects of our community, and not just to find a place where you can volunteer, but just to learn more about this community and just come to love it even more.
Yeah.
There's just so much here for such a small community. There's so much
There
going
is.
on all the time. I have cousins in Missouri that are always saying, I wish I lived in your town. There's always so much, you're always posting so much fun stuff.
I know my parents say that too. They're like, there is something going on all the time in Guthrie,
All
and
the
we're like a
time.
third of my hometown, like population.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I know.
It's true. And
Never
I
can
would
sit around and say there's nothing to do.
It's true. And, I'm not, it doesn't matter what your passions are. It really doesn't. There is something in this town for you to get involved with.
Absolutely.
And it may just be monetary support. If you don't have time, that's fine. Maybe they just need a little help with some money to further their programs. But if you do have a little bit of time, it's a great way to meet people and be part of the community, and also to show your relatives, your kids, the people that you're an influence on, what it means to be part of a community. And I think that when it comes right down to it, this would not be the town that it is if it weren't for all of the generous and loving people that live here and that serve here. So,
absolutely.
I feel blessed to have moved to Guthrie, and to be able to be a small part of all of those wonderful things going on. So,
absolutely.
It doesn't matter how old you are. I didn't get started on this journey until I was almost 50, and it really doesn't matter how old you are,
right,
or what stage of your life that you're in. God's Food Bank has a volunteer that is in her 90s, and she's there all the time doing what she can do. And I think that's just amazing. So it really doesn't matter how old you are. Just do it.
That's such a good point.
Just do it. Get involved.
Just do it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and just for all that you do to serve the community. I know that you are not a self-serving person, and I know it's very hard for you to talk about yourself, but that's okay, because I can help with that. And you deserve to be thanked and recognized. And I know you don't do it for your own satisfaction at all. You just have a heart for serving others, and it's so evident in all that you do. So thank you so much. So there you have it. Check out Leadership Guthrie. We'll have information about that very soon. Or if you have questions about any of the organizations that we mentioned, that's of course not all of the ways that you can get involved, but just a little tidbit there of info. You can reach out to Jamie. I know she'd be happy to answer questions. You can also just come by the chamber, and we can get you plugged in. We've got information and resources and contact information.
Check out the directory, the chamber directory.
Chamber directory.
Lots of nonprofit organizations that are members
of the chamber. We have over 50 nonprofit chamber investors that partner with the chamber that we can definitely help people get plugged into.
You can pick up that directory at restaurants and various places, or at the chamber office. There you go. 113 West Oklahoma.
There you go. Thanks, friend. All right. Well, thank you again, Jamie. We appreciate you. Reach out if you have any questions, and we look forward to seeing you next time for another episode of Chamber Vibes. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Chamber Vibes podcast from Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful downtown Guthrie, America. Be sure and check out a new episode every other Monday. And until then, remember to choose Guthrie.